Did you know your Mac comes with a mortgage calculator, an event planner, a team organizer, and other utilities? These aren't separate apps, but templates in Numbers. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to macmost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So often I'm asked about how to do something in Numbers, and sometimes my answer is simply there's already a template for that. Numbers comes with a large collection of built-in templates that handle some of the most common spreadsheet needs. So when you launch Numbers you may end up with a dialog like this asking you to open a file. If you do, click New Document and you'll end up here. This is also where you may start. And this is where you can choose a template. And you can see there are a lot of different templates that Apple provides that are part of Numbers. You can click on the categories here to the left or just scroll through them. In each category sometimes you can scroll left and right to see more. So let's start off by taking a look at the Simple Budget. This is a very basic template, but it also could be one of the most useful. Here you can simply enter in all of your income in this table and you can enter your expenses in this table. And then you get a result here with the money you have left over every month plus a chart showing you where you're spending the most money. Now it's easy to modify this table for your needs. Obviously if you want to change something, like change this, you can just change it. It's just a piece of text there. And you can also change something else like maybe like that. And if you want to add something more, just pressing return will add another row here. And you see how it pushes everything down nicely. So you can put something like that. And then you could just type what you want here. So let's put something like that and something like that. And you can see how it adds up. It takes into account that there's a new row here. And the same thing here. You can just hit return after selecting the last row and you can add a new item here and it will add to the total. So this shows you how it's easy to customize this budget spreadsheet to have everything that you want in it. And you can make this a personal budget. You can make this a business budget. You can make it a budget for a special project you're working on. Anything you want. And as with all these templates you can use this to learn numbers because you can actually look here and see the formula. See how this is a sum of this column here. This is a sum right there. And this is just subtracting one from the other. The great thing about Numbers is it's kind of like open source. You could see how everything works if you want to investigate the different cells. Now this is one I'm commonly asked about, calculating mortgages. So under Personal Finance you'll find here on the right a mortgage calculator. And this is much nicer looking than what you would probably make if you did it yourself. You probably wouldn't take the time to make it look so good. But you have everything you need here. You just need to change the values. So you change the purchase price to what you want, the percent of down payment. You can even use these little buttons here. You could change the interest rate to something else, the mortgage length, all of this stuff. And it's going to change everything that you see here. And you get to compare, mortgages. It's putting this number right here that you're choosing for your interest rate right in the middle. And you could see if it's a little less or a little bit more. And then also look at the loan amounts here to see the differences there. There's also a similar template here called Loan Comparison. So here it allows you to compare 4 loans, the principal and interest that you'll be paying, and you can change the values here. So if you want to compare something a little different, like a different percentage rate there or a different length here, you can, and you could see the changes reflected there and the numbers right here. Notice the values here are actually pretty complex, using some functions that are difficult to understand, but it's all just done for you. Another one to check out here is one called Retirement Savings. So here you can put your current age, when you want to retire, guess at your life expectancy, and then put what you want your income to be when you retire, how much you want to contribute, all of that. And it's going to calculate this monthly goal here. Note that all the things you need to enter here and what you need to see are actually in this sheet. There's another sheet here with data. So the calculations are actually being run on this big table here in the second sheet that's kind of hidden from view. And you get to see the results here. This is a really good example how some things can't just be calculated with a simple formula. You actually need to run through a whole set of data like this, but you don't necessarily need to see that in the spreadsheet that you're looking at and modifying. There's also one here called school savings as well. That's pretty similar. How much money you're going to need to put away to save up for school for your kid. And it's got a data table here as well. So let's move on from financial things and look under the personal category. There's a lot of interesting things here. Here's one for team organization. So if you run a sports team or you coach a kids team or something like that, you can put the information for each of the players in there. And you've got multiple sheets. You've got one here for your schedule that you could fill out. You can keep statistics on the various players. And there's even a sheet here for the budget for the team. Here's another interesting one. There's baby record. And here you can enter in for each month height, weight, and other information here. Notes, all of that. You get this nice little height and weight chart. There are also other sheets here, like you can keep a daily log and record milestones. There's a useful template called Party Planner. And you can use this for more than just parties, for any kind of event, or maybe modify it for something completely different. So you can set up the budget here on the first sheet. It's got a guest list here. You can have a list of other information and a to-do checklist right here at the end. This is set up for a party, but you could easily modify this for any kind of project, really. A lot of small businesses use spreadsheets rather than dedicated software for lots of things. So there are a lot of templates here that deal with that. For instance, here's an employee's schedule. So if you have a small business like a retail shop or something, you can use this employee's schedule as a quick and easy way to keep track of employee hours and when people are working. Now, even if you just have a side business, probably every once in a while you need to provide somebody with an invoice to get paid. Now, you could start off a blank Pages document or use an invoice template in Pages, but there's a handy one right here in Numbers. So you can simply customize this with all of your information and then go and create a simple little professional looking invoice here without much hassle. And finally, there's a whole section here on education. So if you're a teacher or a student, there's a few things you can use here. For instance, this basic attendance sheet here allows you to have all of your students and then a bunch of dates. You can see how you can easily customize this. Just add another couple rows like that and put the names in there, and everything is set up for it. If you change this first date here, like let's make it November of this year, and then select this first one and drag this yellow dot here to autofill. And you can see how you could autofill all the way to the bottom. You can also drag the bottom out there and then continue to autofill to increase the size of the sheet. There's also a gradebook and GPA calculator here and a few things that could be used by students. And this really cool academic calendar, which is neat in that you can change the year and you can see how it changes all the months. You can change the month as well and everything follows through. Then just change this here. Anything you put here isn't going to affect what's on the left here, but you can actually select a day there and just make that bold or change its color. Now there's actually a lot more than just this. If you look, for instance, under personal finance, you'll find a template that tracks the stocks you may own, a shared expenses template. Under personal, there's a monthly calendar, daily schedule. There's a running log that you can keep. And of course, you could customize that for other things as well. There's a home improvement project sheet. Under business's return on investment, and there's a financial sheet here, a break-even analysis. There's really a lot here that all just comes built into Numbers. You don't have to download this from anywhere. If you have Numbers, you have these templates already. Just create a new document with any one that you want, like for instance, running log, and then you can look at it, play around with it. You don't need to save it. You can just close it right there and you haven't actually created anything. Even if you're not going to use these as is, if one of them performs a function you're interested in doing in one of your spreadsheets, you can use these templates to see how Apple does it in their sheets. And once you've learned that, you can apply it to your own. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.